We're going to be talking about time management skills in this video. How can you do all the things that you really want to do and still complete the schoolwork in the available time? It takes time to break poor habits and develop new ones, but everyone has the potential to improve the way they make use of their time. Allocating time for schoolwork. How much time should you spend on your schoolwork at home? Each school has different recommendations, but it depends on your year level, your school, your parents, and your own abilities and goals. How much is expected? Well, you can check your school diary, but generally it's expected that in junior years, half an hour to an hour each day might be good. In many schools it's around 1 to 1.5 hours on average. Depends on a lot of things. In the middle years, at least an hour perhaps, but other schools may be more. And in the senior years, possibly quite a bit more homework. What about the weekend? Depending on the workload, the same amount on the weekend as on a weeknight might be a good guide. You do need time for yourself though, to spend time with family and friends of course, and it's really important to always get enough sleep. What should you work on at home? Well, each afternoon you should take time to decide how much time you will allocate to your schoolwork that day and do homework first. Do any assignments or tests, do the preparation for that coming up. And also some independent learning or study. Time for independent learning, making study notes, working on difficult areas, doing some extra reading. Anything that will help you improve in your subjects will be beneficial for you. Remember, homework equals the things you have to do, the things your teacher has told you to do. But there's also independent learning and study, things that you choose to do that will help you understand your work better and get better marks. Your afternoon routine might be to declutter, get things out of your workspace before you need them, put them away if you don't need them. Also make a priority list, prioritize, decide what you'll work on first. Be strategic. Prepare, take out the work you'll need for the task you're just about to start. And plan. Now decide which approach you'll take to planning your time at home. There's a couple of options. You can have fixed times allocated to your schoolwork, like a timetable for yourself. It can vary from day to day depending on the activities you have that day. There can be a certain amount allocated to schoolwork, of course. Consider your peak performance while choosing time. Focus solely on schoolwork and then switch off all your distractions. Individual planning each afternoon might involve a more flexible approach than that. It depends on on your daily workload from school that day, and it can be prepared in school or at home, so you can sort of adjust things for each afternoon's needs. Additional notes here. A great idea is to record your favourite TV shows and watch them later when you would be less likely to be able to concentrate as well on your schoolwork anyway. So you can adjust things that way. You can try and get as much as possible of your work completed before dinner perhaps. Don't overschedule for the evening. If you make unrealistic plans about what work you want to get done that night, all that will happen is you'll feel stressed about how much you have to do and perhaps disappointed if you don't complete everything. When you're finished for the evening, put everything away and pack your school bag for the next day. Prioritizing. The first step for all techniques is to write down absolutely everything you need to do. Then try one of the following techniques. There's quite a few here. You can overestimate the time needed for each task. Realize the list will be flexible and things will change. Divide the list into things that must be done and things that would be good to get done. Highlight the most essential and urgent tasks and work out the order in which you will do the tasks. The order of the most important tasks, do them first, and the least important tasks, do them last. It's a good guide there. There's a rule of 3 technique. You can circle the top 3 tasks that need to be done, put them in order from 1 to 3, and start at the first task and complete it before moving on to the second and third. There's also what we call a cull technique that you might consider. This involves first making a list of everything you need to do and then label each item as follows. C for critical, you might label it U for urgent, L for later, and another L might be to lose it. So you can sort of summarize things that way. There's also a radial pile technique. Create a radial pile around your desk. Place all the work on the floor so that there's a visual reminder of everything that needs to be done. Look through the piles and determine your working order. And there's also quadrants. Quadrant 1 is to do first, they're important and urgent. Quadrant 2, you could do that second, tasks that are important but not that urgent. Quadrant 3 is to do third, tasks that are urgent but not important, and quadrant 4, things that should be left till later, tasks that are not urgent and not important. And a 3D system is a possibility. 3D system helps dealing with the papers. You can D for dump. Can it be dumped? Is it really necessary? Chuck things that aren't necessary. D for do. Can I do it straight away, right here, right now, and tick it off my list? And the third D is to delay. As a last resort, you can put things off till later, but you can't do that all the time, of course. Developing good time management habits. They're powerful tools when they're used effectively. Habits. Good habits are anyway. Best approach is to focus on a new habit and practice it every day until it becomes a habit. Having a pattern or regular routine for your schoolwork is one of the best ways you can beat the I don't feel like doing anything type blues. Habits to follow. Writing your homework into your diary every day is great. Checking your diary when you get home each afternoon, and having set periods of time to work in each day, they're all good habits to follow. Some more habits. Deciding in what order you will do your homework that day, looking ahead in your diary to see what work may be soon due, and completing a minimum of half an hour every day of work at home. If you're feeling overwhelmed, what are some suggestions? When you feel overwhelmed by everything you have to do, stop for a moment and write a list of absolutely all the work that needs to be done. Take the thoughts out of your head and put them onto paper, because thoughts simply swirl around in your head sometimes and cause unproductive worry. Once you have it all down on paper, you can then start to plan how to deal with the work. If you're feeling overwhelmed, write out a list of everything you have to do. The urgent things, the things that are coming up, the things that you can put off till later. And the next step, take the urgent tasks and write them in your diary and write down when you will do them. Give them a home in terms of time. Now take the tasks coming up and allocate them as well when you think you might do them. Each week update your list and make a new plan for the week in your diary, and it's really satisfying to tick lots of things off in your diary as well. And that's all about time management skills. I hope you have some success with those.